And welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the show, and excited to be on today. Show number 73. We had some crazy weather up here in the Northeast after a long weekend. We are just coming out of the cold. So excited to be back on the air and going with Education, Leadership, and Beyond. If you are liking the show, reach out to us on Twitter at Andrew Murata21, and certainly leave us a positive review on iTunes. Those are things that certainly can help us. So we are meeting a team today. We are meeting the administrative team from Beekmantown School District up near Plattsburgh, New York. And we're going to have multiple members from their admin team on, and excited. We've never had more than one guest at a time, and this was kind of great how this happened. You never know who's watching the show. You never know who's listening on the show. And Stephen Broadwell, their former superintendent, is very active in professional development and in that area up near Plattsburgh and around New York State. And got in touch with the show, got in touch with me, and got talking and brainstorming on what we can do for Beekmantown. And here we are. We're going to meet their administrative team. And many of them are new in their positions. And Dr. Broadwell kind of liked my book, The Principles, Surviving and Thriving, and they've taken some of the concepts from that and are using them in their roles as newer administrators in their districts. So I'm excited to meet them here coming up on the podcast. The opening concept, Dr. Broadwell used to be a basketball coach, and in 1989, he reached out to John Wooden and asked for some tips on coaching, asked for some tips on leadership. He wrote a handwritten letter to him. He actually reached out to many leaders asking about their leadership style. And John Wooden wrote Mr. Broadwell back. He wrote him a handwritten letter. It's tremendous. So we're actually going to refer to some of the things in this letter for our opening concept. And again, this is Coach Broadwell reaching out to John Wooden in 1989. And Wooden writes, here are a few ideas that I try to get across to my UCLA players each and every year. And I thought about these concepts and how they can relate to the administrators at Beekmantown, right? They're going through a lot. They're learning. They're new administrators. And these concepts in here are just tremendous. So number one, be quick but not in a hurry. That goes for teachers, that goes for administrators, and it certainly goes for John Wooden's players at UCLA. Stay in balance physically, mentally, and emotionally. These administrators are getting so many things thrown at them, so many things that happen. One of them just had to jump up and run out. There was a bus accident, and they got to go deal with that. Do you think they need to be in balance emotionally when they're talking to parents who are going to be upset about their kids in a bus accident? You're dang right they're going to be. He wrote here, never cease trying to be the best that you can be. Us as school leaders, that's an important concept, always trying to strive for improvement, always trying to get better. He wrote here, this is about basketball, but it's also about life. I would prefer that most of our field goals come after a pass rather than the end of a dribble. What does that mean for us as school administrators? It means help one another, pass something on to someone else that they can use. Share with one another, and that's going to lead to success. That's a great concept. Assume that every shot will be missed and move quickly to your rebounding area. Well, how does that relate to school leadership? There's going to be mistakes in your school. People are going to miss things. People are going to drop things. People need reminders. People are going to make errors. And you have to be in good rebounding position as the school leader to catch that, shoot that back, pass it to someone else. So get in good position. Your character is more important than your reputation. As school administrators, we're all going to learn that people do attack your character. They attack your reputation. If something doesn't go perfectly for them, people come at you. And I'm sure the administrators in Beekmantown School District are learning that. Be mindful of excessive jubilation or excessive dejection. Not everything is always going to go your way, and you're going to have low points. Stay steady, right in the middle. This is great stuff. And get ready, and your chance will come, right? Whether it's something for your school, an opportunity for your school, a different advancement, always be ready. And lastly, he writes, earn the right to respect by being industrious, friendly, loyal, cooperative, courteous, enthusiastic, self-disciplined, clean, neat, and considerate of others. That's like the Bible of life, right? Think about that. Industrious, friendly, loyal, cooperative, courteous, enthusiastic, self-disciplined, clean, neat, and considerate of others. Great advice from John Wooden, and thanks to Dr. Broadwell for sharing with me. That's a fantastic resource, and can relate to school leadership as well. Before we meet the team here from Beekmantown, we have a number of viewers watching live. If you are watching live, or you watch it on replay on one of the social medias, leave us a question, leave us a comment. If you're watching live, leave us a question, and we will try to get that in to the team here as we're having our conversation. And those questions do pop up live. We have a number of viewers now. So if you are watching live, don't hesitate to put a question or a comment for us. If you're listening on replay or watching on replay, put a comment or question in there for us also. So let's meet the team here. Good afternoon, Beekmantown. Nice to see you.
You too. Good afternoon, too.
I know we lost a member here, and but you guys are here live, so appreciate you being here. Why don't we go around? First of all, guys, why don't you squeeze in a little bit more, shoulder to shoulder, so we can get you all in the screen there. And why don't you go around, Darcy? Why don't we start with you and introduce yourself and your position, and tell us something about yourself that you want the listening audience to know.
Okay, my name is Darcy Stoutinger. I'm the principal at Cumberland Head Elementary School. It's a pre-K through 5 building, and I'm going on my second year at Cumberland Head. Before that, I was a leadership specialist for 15 years in a different school district. So there's been quite an adjustment period, and I enjoy every day that I come to work, and I look forward to seeing the students, the kids I work with, and I couldn't be happier with what I'm doing right now.
Very cool, Darcy. Nice to meet you. Matthew?
I'm the high school principal. We are 9 through 12. That's my first year here at Beekmantown High School. I'm originally from this area, moved down to Florida for an opportunity in education. Went back to school and got my leadership down in Florida at Barry University. Became an administrator down there, and want to kind of come back to my roots. Miss the North Country people, miss the area, miss the opportunities for students around this area. So I came back. I'm excited to be here. I've had a great first 6 months. I'm really excited to continue those things around here, and the culture that's here, and the progressiveness, the 21st century atmosphere we have here at Beekmantown. And I'm really excited to continue that method that we have going.
Awesome. And I can hear that enthusiasm in your voice, Matthew. My friend Rona Goldstein is watching down in Florida, and she did want to let us know that it is 64 degrees and sunny. I think our weather is a little similar. I think you have about 2 feet of snow up there in Beekmantown.
Right there.
Yeah. Nick, go ahead. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Nick. This is also my first year at Beekmantown. I'm the director of pupil personnel services. It's a pre-K through 12 admin position. Prior to this, I was administrator in another district, and prior to that, I was a teacher for 9 years, mixed between general education and social studies and special education at the 7th through 12th grade level. My office is based out of Cumberland Head, the elementary building, so I also often interact with elementary students. And overall, it's great to be at Beekmantown. It's a great district and really a top-notch teaching staff to work with.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, Nick. Duffy, is that you on the end, Duffy?
Yes.
I want you to scoot in almost shoulder to shoulder with Nick so we can see you. He won't bite you. It's a tight district there in Beekmantown.
Ready?
All right, Duffy, we can see you now. Yeah.
Okay. I'm Duffy Nelson. I'm the middle school principal. I've been in education for 16 years, 13 of which I was a social studies teacher in middle school. So that's exciting.
And then for the last 2 years of my career before this, I was a learning technology coach in St. Vrain Valley School District in Longmont, Colorado. And that's where I earned my admin degree. And like Matt, I wanted to come home and came home to be principal of a school I taught at for 10 years and grew up right across the street so I could give back to the community and make our community stronger.
Awesome. And I know one of your colleagues had to run out with a bus situation, and but I appreciate you guys making time to be here today. And we kind of talked in the pre-show meeting about you guys just jump in with an answer. I don't want to direct a question to either one of you. So let's start with, what was something that in your past career that has prepared you the most for where you are right now? What was something that you've learned in the past that has helped you where you are right now?
Go ahead, Darcy. I think I don't say it's a person who has helped me the most in adjusting to my career. So I had a principal who was my mentor in my former school district, and I think of her often when I'm in a tricky situation or when I'm communicating with my staff. And she was just such a good role model for me, and she knew I wanted to be an administrator, so she'd take that extra time to just talk with me in her office afterwards and go over like choices that she's made, and she gives me the why and the how. So I think it was her time and her attention and her leadership that really prepared me the most. And I thank her all the time, and I apologize to her a lot for anything I may have done as a teacher.
And I think for me, just my whole educational career, definitely I started as a graduate assistant. I coached college football for 2 years as a graduate assistant at Alfred University in New York. And I thought that those leadership skills that you learn there as a coach really, truly helped me in my role now as a principal, and really working with, college freshmen was kind of a big thing of why I kind of transitioned into education, into the leadership role, because I saw a lot of students coming as freshmen unprepared. They really weren't prepared for that college atmosphere. They weren't prepared for the demands that we put on them as college athletes, not only on the field, but academically. So that really prepared me to really work with students that needed a little bit extra push, not only on the football field, but academically. And then I just kind of grew, and that kind of sparked my interest of being in the education field. Went down to Florida, became a teacher, was a reading coach down there, moved to a single school culture coordinator. And that was really a great position for me because you took the leadership role with the culture and climate on the campus. And I thought that really helped me because I had to work with multiple groups, different teachers, and really change the culture on the campus. And I think that's a great thing when you're looking as a leadership role as a principal. You really want to look at that climate and culture and really make sure that's a positive aspect of your day.
I agree with you, Matthew. Very important. And those experiences, right, working at that college level, planted that seed with you. So very cool to hear that. Darcy, Duffy, did you jump in there? Was that you?
With what Matt was saying about coaching, I was a learning technology coach in St. Vrain and was trained with cognitive coaching skills. And one of the things that taught me was just the power of being an active listener. Because I would sit down with, let's say, a choral teacher, and I'm supposed to coach them. And I don't know anything about music, and so but I don't know anything about music, and going through it and just listening, I was able to support that. So it had the biggest impact on my leadership skills is being an active listener, to identify where I can help and support teachers and moving them forward. And so I really wouldn't take that experience and minimize it at all. It was huge impact.
Nick, let's mix it up a little bit. What are some skills that you currently use in your job, on the job? What are some leadership skills that you demonstrate on a daily basis?
I think one thing that's helped me be an administrator is my background in special education. And one of my duties is Committee on Special Education chairperson. And just being familiar with, the IEP processes is a huge help to kind of running those meetings, understanding where teachers come from. Additionally, I'm always willing to take a lead or willing to assist teachers when there's a behavioral needs that come to my desk. Sometimes teachers are present, sometimes they're not, but I think just being able to, set a good example and just demonstrate some techniques that are successful is how I demonstrate leadership in a secondary nature.
Well, we got some people from your area watching. Danny Eagle thinks you're a great team of outstanding people, and Yvette Manny says the same. So they must be friends of the program up in the North Town, as you call it. I like that, the North Town. So again, I'll throw this question out there for one of you. Tell me about the perfect day, right? If everything can go right and you walk out of there saying this was an amazing day, what are some of the things that would happen in your day?
I can start. I think greeting students at the bus stop, just seeing their faces as they get off the bus, greeting them as they come to school, and just knowing that maybe they didn't have a great day that night, and just kind of being that person that is that solid atmosphere for them. So greeting them at the door as they come in. And I think getting in classrooms, I think that is one of the best things, a part of my day, is just seeing our great teachers teach, seeing our wonderful students learning, and just seeing that hands-on type atmosphere on a daily basis would be my awesome day. Then kind of ending the day with, a faculty meeting, so I get to talk to the staff, get to interact with our staff, and communicate with them. It would be really a nice day for me. I would really enjoy that interaction throughout my day.
Cool. Someone else want to jump in with some of those thoughts?
I'd say I'd have to agree that the best part of the day would be time spent with students and time spent with teachers. Some of the managerial type of things that kind of bog me down in my office. To me, that's part of the job that needs to get done, but it's not the part that actually, I guess I want to say, fills my bucket and keeps me happy. It's the interactions I have with kids. And one thing I like to do is I like to go into our pre-K 3-year-old room around nap time and get some hugs and cuddles for a little break, and that just makes it all worth it. So.
Very cool. Nick and Duffy, how about, tell me a little bit, you guys are newer administrators, you're in different roles, some of you have returned to home. Tell me about the balance of home and school. There's so many activities we have to go to and be part of, and we haven't gotten into your personal lives. I have 3 children at home myself, 12, 10, and 7, and that is something that's very important to me, to not miss their childhood, right? I don't want to ever have resentment because I was a high school principal and I spent 90% of my time at school and I missed so much of their stuff. Tell me about the balance between home and school.
Well, I have 4 boys.
God bless you.
All of them attend Beekmantown, and we're all under one roof. And so we live here. And one of the pieces that's very important is that you do have that balance, and that they do come to my office in between practices, and they're involved in school. And then we all go home together. And so we're here until 6 o'clock. But that's when I'm able to take care of some of the pieces Darcy was talking about, answering those emails and writing up those memos. And I try to leverage that time to get that done. That way, when we do go home, it's home time and I can focus on my family. I'm not always, that's my ideal. It doesn't always work out that way.
Oh no, did we lose you? We'll get you back. I guess you can still hear me, Duffy. We lost you there for a second. If you are listening, Duffy, your 4 boys are going to get mad that they can't see you on the screen. So I need you to sit right next to Matthew. And let's see, we're coming back now. There we go. Did you fix that, Duffy?
No. I just looked like it.
Well, I don't want your boys to get mad. They're not going to see you if you don't slide in there tight next to Nick. And they're going to complain that they didn't get to see you. Slide in there tight. And thanks for fixing the technology there. There you go. That's amazing that you have your 4 boys there. Congratulations, and I'm sure you're busy. Nick, how about you? Tell me about the balance between home life and school life. We're losing you again. I can see you now. There we go.
Okay.
Nick, did you hear me? I don't know if we got cut off there. Why don't you tell me about that balance, Nick, between home and your school life? Are you there, guys? Can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Well, you know what? Hey, we're having technology problems with the internet. Maybe it's the weather. Let's shift gears a little bit. Talk to me about technology in your district. Is that a priority? Where's your district at in terms of using technology in the classroom, using it in different aspects of the child's education?
Well, we're one-to-one Chromebooks, and so that initiative started about 3.5 years ago. I don't think any of us were here when that started, but we've been able to see it progress. It was a 3-year phase-in process. We're at the last year, and teachers are embracing technology. They're seeing that they can give students feedback and quality feedback on what students will turn in, and they're also able to use the technology to, I guess, foster equity, so students are able to get their voice heard, and as opposed to in more traditional formats without the technology, where they kind of sit in the back and not raise their hand. This way, the teacher is able to hear from each and every student. So that's how we're really using it for instructional purposes. We're Google Classroom.
We also have, it's not an insignificant investment. We have smart TVs, I believe, in most districts. Some also have multiple smart TVs in the classroom due to some of our coaches.
And do the students take the Chromebooks home with them, or is that something where there's a cart in each room?
Our 3 through 5 students are able to take their Chromebooks home. One of the things that's interesting is that the technology time isn't reserved for a half hour out of the day at our school. It's just an extension of what we do. So the kids will get in, they're able to log into their Chromebook, start working on a Google slide or a Kahoot or quizzes, and it's the process that they do it just happens seamlessly. It's not reserved for one specific time or teaching of the day. It's just kind of who they are, and to see third graders being so skilled at getting in their Chromebooks and YouTube or Wikipedia. It's amazing what they do.
Yeah, it's tremendously embedded in our culture. We even have, we call, and they actually work. What they do is if any computer that is down, not working, they replace the screens. They can replace the keyboards. So they actually have that right here on campus. So these students are learning career skills to take it to that next level, not just by utilizing technology, because that's the world we're living in. They're actually going to have trades and skills to move forward and be marketable when they do leave here. So that is, our school has, a leg up. Being in Florida, Beekmantown Central School District is progressive. It's where it's at for technology, and it's exciting. And I love being here for that aspect of it, because it's something you don't see everywhere.
And Matthew, so you're saying that if a screen cracks or there's something wrong with it, you have students involved in the fixing of the screen?
Yep, absolutely. They go in and they get it fixed, and within a day they have their screen fixed or their keyboard, or they can do whatever they to fix that computer. Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I definitely want to connect with you afterwards to see what that looks like in your school district. That's tremendous. What would you guys say in terms of maybe someone that might be more old-fashioned that says, writing it down is better than typing it, or reading from a book versus reading from a screen? The kid is not going to absorb it as much. What would you say to someone that is resistant about kids being using technology more than not?
I would think the goal of education is to get kids ready for life after high school, whether that be college or the workforce. And outside of school, technology is at the forefront. So having them be competent users of it is really our intent.
That's awesome.
And I think providing that professional development to those teachers, piece that you really have to do is really showing those teachers how easy it can be. And how it can enhance their curriculum and engagement in their classroom. I think once they see that aspect of it, and it's just, once again, just getting through that first step of showing them how to use it, and everything else falls into place.
Guys, it sounds like you're in a tremendous district in terms of technology. But another aspect in school districts is the flow of information, all of the moving parts. You had a 2-hour delay today. Tell me about you. How do you help direct communication in your school specifically, and what are some techniques that you use to make sure people are informed and have strong communication?
I think we leverage our website and social media to get information out to the community about what's going on at our school. We have daily announcements that are posted, and that's kind of taken the place of parent newsletters. So we really leverage the technology that's out there and the resources that are available to get that and communicate with our parents. So we have Facebook and Twitter and our website. So we're out there all around for parents to access and for community members to access.
That's tremendous and very progressive. And how about in your hallways? How about with your teachers and staff? And tell me about when you're in the trenches, communication with your staff and students.
I can tell you, last night we got the call for the 2-hour delay. We have Regents Week this week, so we have ELA Regents that starts at 8:15 the next day. It's really communicating to those teachers, what time that test is going to start, when the students need to be here, when the buses are going to arrive. We had boot camps for review going on at certain times where students were showing up, and those teachers were going to be teaching that aspect of it. So it's really getting that out last night and getting an email out to the whole staff and communicate with them. These are the new procedures. This is what's going on our campus tomorrow. And just that communication piece is hugely valuable. And I think everybody being on the same page helped this morning be a lot more smooth than it could have been. So really utilizing the email, talking to people, getting it out there, and using like Duffy said, our resources like the website, Twitter, Facebook. We got that all out there yesterday, and people were informed. We got to school today, and everybody were aware of when those tests were going to be taken and when the boot camps were and when we had students on our campus. So that was a hugely valuable resource that we utilize constantly.
On a regular basis for my staff in the middle school, I created a Google site, update weekly with information about what's coming up this week, important procedures for an assembly that we might have. And so I've had positive reaction to that, and that it's helped. So I'm not sending emails every moment of every day about what's going on, and so that they're aware of it at the beginning of the week, except in special circumstances when there's a 2-hour delay where you have to get that.
And guys, I know we kind of lost you on the screen here. I could hear you, but we can't see you. And hopefully that'll pop back up. I'm sure the weather has something to do with that. And again, to our live watching audience, if you have a question or a comment for the team at Beekmantown School District, please put it up there, and we'll try to work that into the show. And as we're talking with them, and hopefully the screen will pop back up. Here, I'll throw this question out. It sounds like you're doing well with technology and moving forward. As you plan for next year, or even now as we're on the eve of the second half of the school year, what are some other initiatives that you may have coming forward for your school district? Something that you're trying specifically, not only in your school district, but also your school.
We just had a staff development day. A couple of things were going on for teachers. We had mindfulness training for teachers, and then we also had TCI, therapeutic crisis interventions, training in place for teachers to go to. Probably frozen. So we are, as a district, we're putting a lot of stock into teacher well-being and also in helping with students that are in crisis or students in trauma. At my school, I've partnered with a mindfulness coach who is going to be coming in and working with teachers and students for about 10 sessions into June, and she's going to teach them some strategies to use to deal with stress and regulation.
We lost you there, Darcy.
Yes.
If you're watching, I apologize, guys. We got the internet on this side here, and I'm not sure what happened. We were able to see them, so that's disappointing. We'll see if we can get them back on the line here, and I apologize if you are watching from home live here. We'll give it a little bit more.
you want us to stop the camera and come back?
You can hear us.
I don't think you can hear it.
They were talking about technology and how much it helps their district. And this is one of the drawbacks that when the technology does not go your way, things happen. So, but again, when they have 2 feet of snow and single digit temperatures, things get in the way. So let's see, we'll give them 1 more minute. And then if not, we'll wrap up today's show and get moving on. So, but it was nice. This was a nice story, a nice thing that happened at that township, that school district found me. I went back and forth with their former superintendent and, was able to reach out to them and be in touch. They did, purchase my book for their school district. And let's see if we come back. I can see your screen, guys, but I can't see you.
We can see your screen, but we can't see you.
Yeah. We need that director of technology up in there. Yeah.
What is
Well,
that?
we'll keep rolling then, and certainly the audio is there, but I'm not sure what that is on why it's not coming through there. So, yeah, part of it's like school, right? You guys got to keep rolling when something doesn't go your way. Guys, one of the things I did want to ask you as new administrators, right? People expect you to be perfect. When you make a mistake, sometimes that forgiveness runs out pretty quickly. But in your job, your own personal development, what are some things that have been some challenges for you in your first and second years in your positions? What are some things that you kind of maybe were surprised, wow, this was more difficult than I thought, or was a greater challenge? What were some things that have popped up?
For me, I think it was going from being a veteran teacher of 15 years who was head of a department who knew most of the answers to starting off into a new position in a new district who really didn't have a lot of answers at all. So that uncomfortableness I had to kind of get over and ask for help and just rely on my colleagues and rely on my teaching. So it was stressful and it still continues to be stressful, but I think you just kind of learn to deal with it. So that's me. One way or another, you deal with it in either a positive way or a way you beat yourself up over. I don't know. Work in progress, I guess.
It's a work in progress for sure. Yeah. How about one of the gentlemen?
Hardest thing for me in the K through 12 position is getting to know students. I'm doing okay in Cumberland Head, where my office is based out of, but I just don't know a lot of students. I know names and faces, but I don't know a lot of students on a personal level in the team leading. So that's going to be I guess a goal of mine to improve on.
Yeah. Nick, and I can imagine, because you have to make hard decisions about the child's education with a lot of information you might have on paper, but yeah, that's not necessarily knowing the kids. One of the things I know people do that are in a similar position, Nick, is lunches, right? Everyone would like to have a lunch, maybe that's not a school lunch. So certainly inviting kids to join you for lunch from time to time could be something that could work for you.
I'll give it a try.
I hear there's great pizza up there in Beekmantown. Guys, this was a thrill for me to hear that your district did purchase the book, The Principal Surviving and Thriving, and found it useful. Is there one tip in there or one thing that really resonated with you that you said, man, I'm going to take that and run with it, or that's something I'm already doing and I'm going to continue to do it more? What was something in the book that stood out for you and has helped you?
I know for me, for first year here at Beekmantown, I like the concept of write it up and then rip it up. And really, I think that builds a lot of trust with your teachers. When you're performing observations, they don't really know how you interact and how you're observing them. So I think having that communication piece and really talking to them a post-conference or pre-conference after, and just looking at them and saying, hey, this is where we're at. I'm going to rip this up and we're going to do it all over again. and kind of really build that trust. And I think that's a great way to build that with the new staff. And I think that was a great asset in your book that you put out there.
Cool, Matt. I'm happy to hear that and that you used that. How about someone else?
I really like the concept of thinking of it as a marathon and not a sprint, and really looking at it as a journey, but keeping focused on our purpose and why we're here, and so that you're making decisions that are intentional and purposeful. There's a lot of noise that surrounds us each and every day, coming from a lot of different directions, and I think you need to, as a leader, realize that there is a vision, there is a mission, and you have to stay focused on that. You don't have to achieve it all in one day or 1 year, but make steps and realize that it is a journey and it's going to have its ups and downs and and all ahead of you, but just stay focused on that.
Cool. Keep running that marathon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Someone else?
I think one of the things that I try to do as often as possible is to tell the story of our school and our district. And most of the time that is through social media. So I think I'm very aware of the message I send out. We have a lot of great things going on in our building and in our school district. So I like to celebrate those and give teachers recognition for all of the great programs that they put on for kids, because really, if it wasn't for them, it just wouldn't happen. So again, you mentioned that in your book to attract positive press, and I think that's one of the things that I can say even as a district we're doing really well.
Tremendous. Yeah. Tell your story or someone else will, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Nick, how about you?
One tip that I use, and I recommend that's also in the book, is to meet before meetings. You just have at least have a rough game plan of what is going to be discussed, or if there's an issue at hand, to have some sort of a rough outline of what your solutions will be.
Mm-hmm.
Not to judge outcomes. Everyone has someone on the same brainwave or wavelength as far as getting into some potentially contentious situations, just to have some of the kinks worked out ahead of time.
So are you also admitting to watching the Jersey Shore then as a TV show?
I saw that in the book. Yes, no, but I do know of the show, so I can't say that I haven't seen it, but I know of the show somehow, but I'm not sure if that means I watched it.
One of the characters just got sentenced to prison here right next door to Port Jervis, New York. But we certainly won't celebrate any bad news for any of these guys.
Jeez.
So, well, we lost you guys visually, but certainly still been able to chat with you. But let's move towards the rapid fire portion of the show here, and we will get things wrapped up. We're talking to the administrative team from Beekmantown School District in upstate New York. I don't think there can be more up in the upstate when we're talking about Beekmantown. But it's been a thrill to speak with you guys, and hopefully we can remain resources to help one another, because as you guys touched on in your conversation here, it is about helping others and sharing. It's about the people, and really excited to talk all the good things that are going on in Beekmantown today. So why don't we just go in order with the rapid fire, and you jump in there. I think, Darcy, you're our first person there on the left. So, Darcy, last book you read?
I was reviewing your book last night.
Good answer.
Yes, but on a personal level, I'm a Nicholas Sparks fan, so I think that was one of my summer beach reads.
There you go. He does all right for himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Matthew, last movie you saw?
Last movie. It's kind of hard to watch movies right now. I got a 9-month-old at home, so there's not a lot of movie watching when I come home. But the last one I actually saw, I think, was The Week Of. It's got Chris Rock and Adam Sandler. They're getting married. One's really a rich family and one's a poor family. And it's just a funny comedy to kind of see how two families mesh together.
You got to do that once in a while.
Definitely.
Nick, how about you? Favorite place to travel?
Favorite place to travel? It's been a while but it's calling me back the Pacific Northwest.
I like it. Beautiful. Duffy, something that motivates you?
My sons, and being a good example and role model, and being transparent with them about failing and getting up from those failures.
Powerful. Why don't you give them a shout out? Why don't you tell me their names and ages?
Julian, 16. Odin is 14 and has a birthday tomorrow. Christian is 12 and Dane is 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Next time you negotiate your work contract, you got to put something in there for having 4 boys, teenagers. That food
Right.
bill must be outstanding.
Thank you.
Darcy, 3 most important qualities of being a principal.
Well, I think you have to be a collaborator, somebody that values the opinions of others, somebody who is a good communicator, somebody who others feel as though they can come to you when they have an issue. And then I think you also need to be loyal to your students, your district, and to your teachers as well.
Awesome. Matthew, how about an assistant principal? Those skills may change. You're in different seats. What would you say as an assistant principal? What are there any different qualities of an assistant principal that you may look for?
I think the number one is trust. I think really with assistant principal, you really got to build that with the principal and really have open communication, have open dialogue with the principal so that you guys work together. I think that's a huge aspect of it. And I think also just understanding the district, understanding how to get what your goal is as an administrative team.
Love it. That's great. Nick, how about your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve? I don't have any. I'm an administrator.
Good answer. You can handle anything.
Exactly.
I'll give you a pass on that. How about Duffy, a short-term personal goal, 3 to 5 months?
3 to 5 months, short-term personal goal. Really enhance those relationships that I have with my teachers, and make connections with some people I haven't really been able to connect with so far this year. To build that trust with them.
Okay. And Darcy, we'll end with you. A long-term personal goal, 3 to 5 years.
In 3 to 5 years. So I still see myself being a principal, of course, and trying to perfect my craft. As far as what I would like my staff to be build capacity for is being a trauma-informed school and dealing with students and their mental health as well as teacher well-being.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that is something that needs our attention, and the thing that these kids are going through with the shootings and all the terrible things that are happening, that's an important training. Matthew, we're going to end with your book recommendation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that the book study you're doing with your school?
Yeah, we're doing What School Could Be. We're actually doing it through Google Classroom, so it's kind of an interactive 21st century piece. And it just really focuses on, teacher accounts of how they're incorporating 21st century technology in the classroom. So I just want to kind of spark that in some of our teachers, that, how they incorporate it and how that transition is taking place, and kind of moving from that traditional classroom into that 21st century classroom, especially here at Beekmantown, where we have so much progressiveness that we have here with technology. So it's really, we're on that first chapter. I've got great comments from my staff already. It's really cool to open that up, that Google Classroom, and interact with them, over the internet. And I think that kind of relieves a little piece of having to meet with each other. And I think I got more participation that way, and I just do it on their own time and more leisure activity. So even when we had 2 feet of snow, it's nice to kind of open up the Google Classroom and read some of the comments on the book. It just kind of helped me reflect too on some of the comments within the book.
Oh, sorry about that. Listen, and if I could help connect you with Ted Dintersmith, he's the author of that, and also did the documentary Every Student Succeeds, and just tremendous. So I wish you good luck with that, and we're going to sign off here on the show, and to the team at Beekmantown, especially Dr. Broadwell, thank you so much, and I hope you guys got something out of this. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to see you. I was able to hear you. But I do wish you guys the best of luck in your school year as you continue here into January.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right. And if we can help each other, if you're another school administrator, you're watching this, sharing resources and sharing different techniques is a great way to improve. So if I can help you guys at Beekmantown in any way, don't hesitate to ask. And we can do the same for each other. So we're going to sign off here on Education, Leadership, and Beyond. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you did like the show, please leave us a positive comment. And as always, if I can help you anywhere on Twitter, reach out at Andrew Murata 21. We're going to sign off. I hope everyone stays warm up there in Beekmantown. Good luck to y'all.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
All right. All the best. And signing off here on Education, Leadership, and Beyond.